Yeah, great challenge. Get to go on the road, sixth straight game in a row. Get to go up to Boston. That's a big challenge for us. I know the importance of this game, the red bandana game and what Wells Crowther means to their program and how they honor him. And, we share in acknowledging the incredible sacrifice he gave for our country and so many others that did on that day. So I want to make sure that we give that the respect it deserves. But great challenge. I mean, Bill's a championship-level coach at every level. So, and they've been really, really close a lot, and so we've got our hands full there. And then, this Friday's a big day in the state of Texas. It's a Texas high school coaching day. It's where every November we honor all the high school coaches in the state of Texas. So just, man, the impact they have on these young men's lives that we're coaching, obviously all the female coaches that coach all the female athletes in high school, but just, man, they're creating world changers, they're making impacts. So we want to always honor and acknowledge them. And it's really cool that Joe Martin and the association has picked a Friday every year to honor the Texas high school coaches in our state. And then most importantly, I mean, like I said, sixth straight game. We're as beat up as we've been all year at this point, so we're trying to get as much duct tape as we can to hold it all together. And but the game doesn't care. The game demands the same every week, the same physicality, the same execution and effort. So we're gonna have to find a way to go get it done.
Seems like mentally almost the antithesis of last week. This week now coming off of the big win. How have you seen the team refocus in practice?
They were good today. We've got to have the same mindset we had last week. Honestly, we've got to have a better mindset than we had last week. I mean, last week was really good. We were focused. We were intentional. We were urgent. But this week it has to crank up a little bit. We want to be better this week than we were last week. We're still trying each week to strive to play our best game of the season, which I don't think we've done yet across the board in all three phases. So our guys have been good. I mean, like I said, it's we just got to tough it up another week and find a way to get a road win. Last time we went on the road, we did not play well, so we got to be motivated to do better this time.
How's Kevin doing?
I think Kevin's doing fine, honestly, which I know it's become kind of a theme this year. That happens usually once a game, and this was probably the worst it looked. First time he had to come out for a few plays. He popped right back in. Thought Ty did a fantastic job. It doesn't look like much, but you just do your job on the play. They're in cover one. He diagnoses the coverage, goes where he's supposed to on time with a catchable ball. They got to hold Matt. We get the call, all because he did his job. Ended up getting us 3 points. So, but Kevin actually Sunday, Monday, and even today said it's the best it's felt in a while. So, we'll see. I expect him to continue to be the same guy he's been. Yeah, I think, him getting healthier. I think you saw last game. I think you saw a few weeks ago at Clemson what we thought we would have all year, and we didn't have him those first 3 weeks of the season. And then getting to practice for 3 or 4 weeks and getting game shape, I think has helped him now. He's able to play longer and play more effective. And I think he's just taken the challenge of those weeks, well, and that it's an opportunity for him to go out and show what he can do. But, yeah, I mean, he made some incredible contested catches, and I think he shows he's really strong with it running the ball once he gets in his hands. So, we felt like Saturday when you saw him and Romello making plays and even Miz, and Matt Hibner's back healthy, that's kind of what we hope to be in the passing game.
Having played 4 games, if he had to go in, would he go in?
Yeah, we're not trying to burn anybody's games just to burn them. But, yeah, if he has to go in to win the game, he's going to go in. He's the backup quarterback, and he knows that. That's what he's here to do. We're not going to do it just to do it. At the same time, it's not going to happen this year, maybe next year. But I think in his career, I know every football coach in America would love to get rid of this 4-game red shirt. It creates too much chaos for the kids, for the teams. It's not right. It's not good. It's bad for health and safety. The way the game has changed, it's outdated and needs to go. And just let them play 5. And I know there's other concerns that we got to work through on that end to get to that point. But it's pretty unanimous from coaches and players. And then you take that pressure and stress off the kids and teams. So, but, yeah, we're not going to put someone in just to put them in and burn that opportunity. Same time, he knows he came here and he wants to play, and he's the backup quarterback. And he's got to be prepared after the first play of the game to play the entire game every week.
You brought up talking with Kevin and saying
Yeah.
How does all that work?
I don't plan on having any of those till after the season, regular season's over, especially with the portal moving out of December. It takes a little of that pressure off the kids and us. I want our guys focused on the game. And I did say I was kind of using that as an example, Kevin, PJ, any of the players on our team, every year now in college football, they decide, do they want to stay or go? And so we obviously sit down and try to sell them on the vision of why we want them to stay. And this is best for them. And same thing with the 26 class that's committed to us and the 27s and 28s we're recruiting. And, it just makes it a lot more genuine when you can say, hey, myself and our staff, we bought into the vision that we're asking you to buy into, instead of, well, are you going to be here? What are you going to do? And that's kind of all I was trying to draw the comparison. So I don't anticipate having those conversations during the season. We haven't planned to. Now, if a kid ever wants to talk, we'll definitely talk, but we'd prefer to keep the focus on the games through Thanksgiving if we can.
Where's Tyler Van Dyke at in terms of his health? It seems like he's available.
Tyler is emergency cleared now, probably for the last week or two. Is he 100%? No, but in practice he's done more. He's gotten some team reps. I know running straight ahead, he can run almost 20 miles an hour. He's a pretty good athlete. So, Ty's the backup. Same thing, we're not going to burn Tyler unless we have to, especially this late in the year. He came here with on the same page with what we were going to try to do, and he's been great in rehabbing and getting healthy. I think that's good for him, and I think he's been great for our team and our room, and just a mature, confident voice that's been through it all. So he's available, and as is Charlie Pfizer. So while we're beat up everywhere, we do have 4 quarterbacks, but kind of similar to Ty, we're not going to do anything to jeopardize his future unless it's absolutely imperative.
And Ahmad Moses, obviously a huge game, but it seems like he's just been really steady for you guys all year. What have you seen from him?
Man, Ahmad's just great story, and awesome to see him do that. I mean, a kid from the Metroplex chose to stay home out of high school, similar to Kevin a little bit. He was probably a little more recruited than Kevin, but chose to stay here and trust us. And he played a lot as a freshman in this being his 3rd year now in a row, going on his 4th season, but 3rd year in a row, pretty much playing a ton, and he's all over the field. I mean, the interceptions right now are getting notoriety because I think he's tied for leading the country, and obviously he had one set up a score, one that sealed the game almost on defense. They had 15 tackles, and in space against a guy like Malachi Toney, his ability to cover ground both on the back end and in the run game is really special. And so he's kind of stabilized our defense, to be honest with you, just by his play every week.
Speaking of covering ground, what have you seen from the linebacker room in terms of taking steps forward? Because it seems like with the experience that they got early in the season, they just keep making game-changing plays every week.
Yeah, I mean, you see the growing pains and the hard things we were forced to go through early in the year with Kilgore and Zakai out, paying off for both Brandons. I mean, they're both playing at a high level. And now those 3 or 4 guys are in the rotation, and we're fresher, and most time you don't even know who's in the game, and they're all being productive. But because they were able to get that experience, now it cost us a little bit early in the year, but boy, is it paying off now and for the future. So, we've had some guys like Medlock and others get banged up, and so we've kind of had a 4-man rotation, in some cases 3, the last couple of weeks. They're beat up, but I expect them all to be able to go this week. And like I said, I think them and our D-line have shown the most growth and development, I think, from the start of the season till now, which makes sense because that's where we had the most either inexperience or newness, just in terms of stopping the run and really getting after the quarterback a little bit.
What was the celebration like after we left you on Saturday? With Brian?
Yeah. It was good. Went down to celebrate here with the staff a little bit. Went out and did a little reverse boulevarding. I mean, we can't talk about it if we're not going to be about it, and that was great. Just to enjoy the win with the SMU family. I mean, that was an incredible atmosphere. We had some good ones last year. I mean, I think TCU, Florida State, Pitt, even BC late in the game, but like an 11 o'clock kick, I've not heard Ford Stadium that loud. I mean, drew multiple false starts and delay of games, had to burn timeouts. They were effective in the game. And so, man, we got to go celebrate with them. So did that, and then went and met Ray Washburn and Bill Armstrong down at the Katie Trail Ice House. I was hungry, so I ate a burger, and Luke was there, and we celebrated, and a bunch of SMU people there. I've never been to the Ice House after a game. It's a different vibe. It was fun. And I guess the goalpost didn't make it to Deep Ellum, right? We stayed on campus. Did I hear it go to the Barley House? So, we celebrated the win because you have to do that in our game, right? Like, today's Tuesday, none of that matters. We're fully focused on BC, but it's hard to win. When you win, it doesn't matter whether you win a game like that or you win the first game of the year. You got to celebrate with your fans, with your teams, with your staff, with your family. Because we put a lot of work into this for 12, maybe 13, 14 opportunities a year. So we did. And then we woke up Sunday and we thought about Boston.
The conversations around the extension, obviously salary, whatever, were there anything that you talked with the school about things you want to see from the assistant pool to, I don't know if there are conversations around
Yeah.
facilities, kind of anything like that?
Yeah. I don't know if the top 10 stuff's necessarily all accurate, but what was reported, here's what I'll say. For the last, probably since our first bye week, our administration and Damon and everyone has been incredibly supportive about wanting us to be here and wanting to do everything we can to be the best we can be at football, and recognizing that we've done a lot of good. We still got a lot of growth to do here. If we want to get our program to the top level of a P4 program. And, just like we're going through year 2 of this jump, our entire university and athletic department is too. And it just takes some time to grow. And so there's a lot of growing and building still left to do. But we have a big commitment to get us the resources we need, whether it be, rev share and third-party NIL and all the things that we have to do to be competitive there, or staff, or facilities, and all of that. But for the last month, they knew this internally, that this is where we wanted to be. There was never any gray area there. There was open communication. And so we were just working on ways to try to make sure our staff is positioned. If we want to be a team that competes for the ACC every year and competes for championships and playoff berths, then what does that look like compared to our competitors? And I think that was work that credit Damon and our team and administration for working together to get that as good as we possibly can, so we can continue the building process and the growth. And that was it. And really, it's weird how sometimes the timing happens. Like, I would tell you, for the last week or two, I think we all felt pretty confident that was going to be the result, and there was not a lot of focus on it. There was not a lot of distraction about it internally. It's just a matter of when it finally happens on a Friday night. Oh, all right, all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and we can get it out there, which is good. It's good for us in recruiting. It's good for stability. But like I said, I think when y'all asked me about a month or two ago, like, this is where our head is, this is where our heart is. And so it was really just a matter of getting all that in a good place. But I'll say this, our administration has not hesitated one bit, from our board to our president. We want to do everything we can to make SMU the university, but athletics and SMU football as good as we can year in, year out. And we feel like if we do that, the entire university is going to continue to rise.
When you look at the running back room and the different styles with CJ and Derek having that speed and TJ being more downhill, when you go into a game, is there an idea among the staff of which kind of style is going to work, or do you tend to just kind of split reps and see what's working?
Yeah, this has been one of those tough years in terms of the running back room just getting kind of an identity because of a bunch of things. TJ's been the most consistent available guy, but, you start the season and we end up moving Derek to more of a half and half role, and he's flourished in that role. And then TJ was really good early in the season. He got banged up, but he kept playing. And then CJ started to kind of come on around Stanford and Syracuse and even Clemson, and then gets banged up early in the weight game when he was running well. You started to see him give us the explosion we need in the run game. He tried everything he could to go this past week. We got him in a few plays, and he just didn't have it because those plays were actually blocked up probably pretty good. And so we couldn't go with him. And then, Jermico Green, we really felt like he was going to be a guy. He can run the football, but he's a true freshman. He had some injuries early, and then he lost his grandmother. And so it's just been a lot of herky-jerky trying to get some not just with TJ, but across the board. And then Shotty's learned the offense, and now you see him get in there. And so it made it hard. Like this past week, it would have been really good to have Chris's explosion 2 weeks ago too. I think you saw in the first quarter. But when you don't, it's next man up. And so it's kind of like going into this week. Man, are we going to have him or are we not? And so it makes it harder to plan. But we got to figure it out because we got to run the football a lot better. And we knew last game was going to be a challenge either way. But in general, that's what we have to do if we want to control the game better and we want to score more points and be the best we can. I mean, you throw the ball to score, you run the ball to win, and that was never more evident than Saturday. You know, we had to make a decisive effort middle of the second quarter. We got to air it out to stay in this thing, and it worked, and our guys made plays. But late in the game, we had to run the ball to win. We did. But we just got to do it more consistent. So there should be a complementary version of whether it's TJ and Shotty are powerful and the other guys are a little slashier, but it's just been hard to get in a rhythm.
And just to go off that quickly, is it maybe harder for a running back like CJ to play banged up compared to TJ because, you know, he uses that speed?
I think so when that's your style. You know, it would be different if it was his shoulder or it's his ankle. And, you know, he can run straight ahead fine, but when you got to do this, it's just different. Whereas when, you're a downhill bruiser mentality, it's probably a little different. I'll say this. CJ was in the training room. He lived there last week. I mean, you know he wanted to play in that game, and he gave it a go. He just didn't quite have it. And, you know, hopefully he'll have it this week, and if not, after the bye. But it's nothing major. It's just, you know, certain guys, when you're 70, 80%, but that's your superpower, it makes it harder. Yeah, I mean, let's see. We had Logan Parr had to go out in the first quarter. I would say he's questionable at best. That's 2 weeks in a row. Marcellus Bryan had to leave the game. We're getting really thin there, but he's probably day-to-day to questionable. I mean, neither one have been ruled out, but I would not be able to give you a lot of confidence that we know we're going to have him. Terry Webb, I'd say he's same boat. Day-to-day, it's not severe, but I think this week's in question. Everybody else, we just talked about Chris. I'd say everybody else is in that question. We got a list of questionables, and I'd say probably more than half will be able to give it a go, and it's just they're beat up and how long they hold up. And sometimes you find out a little more Thursday, Friday. Was there anyone I missed that? Anybody on that? So I would say those three, Terry, Marcellus, and Logan would be the three additionals on top of probably ones you already knew about. Cam still week to week. I mean, you know, we were really hopeful for last week, and we found out about Wednesday it wasn't looking good. And then Saturday morning, Doc evaluated him again. He's not cleared. It'll probably be the same this week. So best case scenario, we get him cleared Saturday morning, and he can play. I mean, he's obviously a big part of our defense. Worst case, the bye would hopefully get him to the next one. We're optimistic, but it's one of those things that until your strength's back, there's just nothing you can do about it. And we're going to always do what's best for him. So I would say he's probably a game-time decision again like he was last week.
With the red bandana game, do you just address that? Do you tell the team, kind of share the story a little bit on your end? Or
yeah. You know, it's their deal, and we don't want to take away from that. But, yeah, I mean, we want to give it the honor it deserves. I mean, we're all Americans, and what he did was a sacrifice for everyone. So we aren't going to harp on it because that's their tradition, but we're going to make sure our guys know that how much we're going to pay our respects in terms of just acknowledging what the game means and what it's about. But I mean, like I said, it's their deal, and we don't want to take away from that. Smoke's probably in the same boat as Cam. You know, those guys, they're just lingering. And each week, they're game time, which means could they turn the corner? Yes. Realistically, it might be after the bye for both. But don't want to close the door on them just yet.
And just what you've seen from the BC quarterback
Yeah. Yeah, they have. You know, Lonergan started the season familiar with him. I remember him out of Atlanta in high school. Really good football and baseball player, and I think they felt really good about it. And I don't know why they ended up making a change. Went back to Grayson James, who played against us last year. He's from the Metroplex and played really well last year. And then it sounds like Saturday, you know, they played them both. Both are capable. Both are very capable of beating us. I I think what they've done offensively, I mean, you look, they're running their stuff, but it's almost like playing Navy. You're not going to get many possessions. I mean, guys, they had a 15-play drive, I think, in the second quarter. I mean, I think Notre Dame had one drive in the second quarter, maybe two. It's 12-7 at half. And they take the ball to start the second half, and the first time Notre Dame touches it, there's 3.5 minutes on the clock, and it's 12-10. Like, then they had another 14-play drive in the fourth quarter. Like, you know, you don't get a lot of opportunities, so you got to value the football. You can't turn it over and give them short fields or lose your possessions. And we got to find a way to get off the field on third down. But this has been a hard matchup for us. Last year in the league, they played us better than anybody here at home. You know, they ran the ball well. They play action well. Like, they do a really nice job of moving the chains and keeping the ball and milking the clock. And then on defense, you know, they do a good job of mixing up man, zone, 4 down and odd. They give you some different things you have to deal with. So, but yeah, the QB deal, I don't know. We got to be ready for both of them. They're not too different. They're fairly similar in terms of style, so that helps. But you know, I expect they may both play in the game.
And then just last thing, the ability to get off the field on third and fourth and short for you guys, and then kind of the third and long. Sometimes they're a little bit of the differences between the two right now.
Yeah, we got to set more third and long traps. We set a lot of good third and fourth and short traps. Now, I don't know. Our guys have been really resilient in those third and one, fourth and one challenges. And, I mean, they've been incredible moments. I mean, another one this Saturday. And not only that, the fourth one was huge, right? The third and one that held them to a field goal. And because we'd stopped them on fourth and one earlier, probably deterred them from going for it again. And at that point, I think we were tied. You kind of got to take the points. But big stops at goal line. But, yeah, we've struggled on third and long when we play coverage to just finish the plays, you know. And it's probably a combo of if we don't pressure, we're not getting the pressure when we need it. QB has plenty of time, makes it harder to cover. So that's been the one area that keeps kind of plaguing us. I thought Saturday we did a really good job of limiting their explosive pass plays. That was the difference. We limited the explosives and we stopped the run well enough to keep them from getting in the end zone more. We're going to have to do more of that this week.